Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the MI podcast. If you've not checked out the MI podcast, in this podcast, we discuss different topics in marketing and media. So, if you are working in that domain or you enjoy, talking about these different promotions, advertising, and everything digital that you see nowadays, this is a great podcast to check out. Today's topic, we're going to talk about what we are doing. We have a podcast, so it's about content and the different content strategies and techniques, and what content formats, or what in general is trending, what is in the industry. This will be kind of useful if you're part of a content team. In general, I would say marketers today, like 60-70% of the work is content. You are designing that content to distribute to your particular TG, hoping that they start following you, or they listening to you. Because if you look at a strategy that is used by marketers, like community marketing, you're building communities, you're not selling. You are like telling. So I think today, if you are a marketer and you don't have much idea of content, you don't get deep into it, you are just like, maybe just like as a consumer, you superficially see, then you are at a major disadvantage. Where we are going today, we want marketers to specialize in that, like study the TG, what do they see online, who are the influencers they follow, what kind of brand collabs are being done within the industry, what are the competitors doing. This is something which has to be at your fingertips as a marketer. So hopefully this particular podcast would be kind of something which you can kind of look at, like we are looking at the trends in social media and content creation for this year, that is 2025. Awesome. So today I have with me somebody who is a brand solution strategist, and it is Aditi Rathore. How are you?
Hey, hi Nikhil. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited to be here and talk about how the social media industry and our digital industry as a whole is changing. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for taking your time, Aditi. So, Aditi, you are joining us from where exactly?
So I'm joining you from Bombay.
That's right. So, you currently you are working as a brand solution strategist. So, can you like take us to a little bit about your profile, just people get an understanding like what you do in your particular profile on a like a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I'm working as a senior exec in terms of brand solution. I am not inclined or just restricted to one brand. I've got an opportunity to work on diverse sectors, be it FMCG, be it automobile, be it clothing and apparel. So my work in my current organization is I superhead three regions in terms of my work, northwest and south, and I do look after the brand strategy for all the briefs that are coming in for any brand, or we are directly partners with different advertising agencies, uh, right? And not just with the agencies, but we directly work with direct brands on the client side as well. So that's how my work is, which is, you can say, from auditing or analyzing a particular brand, doing research, and then coming up with ideas or coming up with strategies to execute and to achieve that particular objective or the KPI, and then delivering the results to the client. So from idea to execution and then providing the results, it's like a one man show. So yeah, that's what I do on day-to-day basis. And yeah,
That's right.
that's how my
So,
day looks like.
Aditi, like if you break it down, your profile for like three, four major things that you do, it could be like sequence also. If it could be, you can share that. Like, how do you do it? Like, you are doing the brand solution strategy for a XYZ brand.
Let's say for an example, Tanish. I'm just taking Tanish as a brand. When the brief comes in, we do meetings with the client, and we try to pitch them. So first we go into the market, we do primary and secondary research, taking any brand. For now, I'm just taking Tanish as a brand. we did a research and we found out that this is what Tanish is not doing, and we feel from our point of view that Tanish should be doing a certain kind of a campaign or certain kind of um, a lot of strategies or anything that is missing over there. We just found out the loophole, and then that's how we are pitching our services and how we can optimize their current situation as a brand into the market. So that's how, and then we create pitch presentations with all our offerings and services, and in whatever way we can improvise on the current uh, brand positioning in the market. So that's how, and once we pitch to to the client, and we do a lot of meetings, and it goes with a lot of feedbacks and approvals and all of it. Once the client is aligned with our offering and our strategies, that yeah, that really perfectly fits for my particular brand, uh, Tanish for an example, then we kind of go ahead with what's exactly that we are trying to do for Tanish. Then we come up with creative ideas, we brainstorm with the creative team, copy team, this design team, and a lot other teams. Once we finalize on that, again a feedback and approval process goes on. That's another part of it. But then doing kind of A/B testings and all of it, which gives us a actually a real scenario on how our things are going to be performing in the long run in order to achieve that particular objective. And that's how then coordinating with the operations team to take the campaign live and all of it. So it includes more of a collaborative approach and the strategy. So that's how we are currently onboarding different clients. So that's how the work is.
That's right. Awesome. Definitely is interesting, like this brand solution strategy. Like there are, I feel, within marketing, when you have somebody, there is somebody in-house, and like in your case, is like an agency. In-house
Yeah.
people are mainly seen in uh, brand solutions or this thing. They are, like looking at advertising, how to do it, or how to integrate, like maybe is that into like branded content strategy, that would be like a different thing.
See, I would say it's more or less same.
Hmm.
But yeah, the perspective changes when it comes to an in-house team or an agency. Agency is more looking towards achieving the hard and the soft KPIs. Wherein if you
Hmm.
have an in-house team, you're more onto building your brand positioning into the market. The focus is
Yeah.
little different, I would say, from my perspective, because the in-house team is directly working with the person who owns the brand, or with the founder, or all the key person. So that's actually a little change that I've seen while working into agency, and I've previously worked for a brand on a brand side as well. So this is the difference that I was able to identify, that in terms of perspective, in terms of looking at things, that really matters, and that really is a shift between both of these.
That's right. Awesome. So I think we'll dive into our discussion, Aditi, about this content creation and all what is happening. So, what do you feel are the biggest trends that are going to come out this year? Like when you look at content creation only, if you look specifically, what's the landscape? What has been, happening, and what is in this year is going to have, catch popularity.
Um, See, what I feel that the biggest content creation trends that are currently going on is AI integration. Every brand, if you see, is looking for AI content ideas, or they want AI to be integrated into their content strategy, or let's say even their apps, website, or platforms. So that's one of the trend. For an example, even if you see, Nike has also integrated AI into their app. They are providing personalized fitness plans to their consumers and customers. So that's how every brand into the market is looking for an AI integration. That's one trend that is going on. If I talk about AR and VR, augmented reality, that's another thing that brands are looking out for these kind of ideas and these kind of trends. You can say innovations. Actually, they want something more than just a social media strategy. they need something more than just a video or a static ad format. So that's where AR is coming into place. If you see IKEA, or if you see, I think Birla Opus, or the decor, I'm not exactly able to remember the brand, but yeah, IKEA definitely come up with a, this AR idea where they actually given the consumer the right to select the furniture and visualize into their own homes. So that's how it's coming into place. Even a lot of automobiles, like I've been working with some of the biggest uh, players in the automobile industry, let's say Tata Motors and all of it, they are trying to integrate the AR into their marketing strategy. All right, they want that if a person is sitting at home and scrolling through the phone, they should be able to give that a showroom kind of an experience using the AR to their customers. So that's how it's coming into place. So I think AI and AR is something that is going to be the trends. Apart from that, AI coming into place, that's there, but we as a
I
human
think
need
it's
a human
more, I would
touch.
say, if we are
Yeah.
like being specific, it would be you're using AR on a mass scale like that, because with the technology advancement that is possible. Like when you mentioned
Yeah.
the fitness plans, um, today you can integrate it with your chat GTP kind of tool if you
Yeah.
have, and you can
Correct.
have a conversation, a very personalized, like a
Personalized
service
way.
or a
Yeah.
message. So those kind of
Correct.
things you're integrating is, see, end of the day, I would say it's has a huge marketing impact, right? So it is part of your
Correct.
marketing, wherein you
Yeah.
having these kind of tools and all, like
Yeah.
there are various popular. I mean, when you look at tools also online, if if you're using like I was even seeing there was some like a finance app or something, and they had a thing wherein if you Google like calculate my income tax, then it would kind of show up their website in the starting with that tool where
Yeah.
it calculates. So with a like a use case, like what will my TG think, and what kind of small tool they require. So today, like if going forward with that tool, if they say that how do I save my tax, there's some question added also, then they can even
Yeah.
suggest, because with the AI integrations and all, and end of the
Correct.
day,
Correct. It's
that much interaction with your website and all that, then it is a branding only, right? Because
correct.
you are
Yeah.
interacting with your TG, and then
Correct.
that increases chances end of
It,
the day of business with that particular person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it actually increases the time spent of the user, because
Hmm.
that's what every brand is looking for, right? They really want the user to be there on their platform. They don't want them to leave without making an action, right? Whether it's a sales or whether any kind of engagement or an event that is set. So that's there, and that's how these two trends are setting. Big trends in the coming year. Apart from these two, what's there on the soft corner of all these, using an AI and AI? Uh, Everything needs a human touch. Though everyone is very familiar with AI, and we all want AI integration into each of our products, each of our websites, and all of it. But then there is something, if you see the trends that are there on social media, people are connecting with content that resonates with them. They are looking for more personalized experience that of course an AI can give you, right? If Nikhil is asking for anything, that definitely an AI can give you more refined version of what you have actually asked for. But then obviously you will not be able to connect it that way. If there's a
Hmm.
storytelling, if that actually resonates with what Nikhil is currently thinking about and all of it, I think that really makes more sense. So I think personalized content, uh, which obviously have an AI, thing in it, but then more of a with a human touch, I would say. That's really working out for brands. A lot of brands are trying out these storytelling formats. So I think that's there. Another one I would say is community building. If you see on Instagram as well, there are broadcast channels, right? People are, if any brand, that is for an example a new brand coming into the market, they are not coming out with a perspective to sell a product. They are here to make a community. And then So it's you can say a vice versa, where earlier people used to come with a product and hard sale, like please buy this and buy that at any cost. But now the trend has actually changed. People now are building community first and then launching a product. You see a lot of influencer out there, they are coming out with their own products. Why? Because now
Yeah.
they think that they have created their own community. For an example, niche hairs, she also went to Shark Tank India, and how she has come up. She was already having a huge user base on Instagram, right? Being herself a celebrity, she has built that kind of audience, a community that follows her, right? Whatever she's saying,
Mhm.
and now it was easier for her
And
to
the
launch a
product
brand because
also
she
is somewhere related
resonate
to
with
in
her
terms of,
audience. Yeah,
yeah, like what she is obviously in the acting field is the looks, and also
yeah,
it's something to enhance your looks and all that, hair
yeah.
extension. And also, yeah, it was like
Correct.
a right match, right product fit, and
Yeah,
obviously then obviously you have to make efforts to then the product has to be
of
good. That is a
course.
different
Yeah,
thing, but at least then
yeah. That's
marketing is you are hitting your goals in
yeah.
terms of marketing. Hmm.
Correct. You have that custom audience with you already, where we create
Hmm.
the custom audience that's already there with her. So there are many examples I can give uh, in the same direction. But yeah, that's there. So that's AI, that's AR. We talk about this personalized content that your audience can resonate with, and there is this community building. I think these are gonna be the next trends, and more brands will be focusing on these things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, also when you look at, community building, what is happening now is like you are majorly segmenting really small audience, right? And that is
Yeah,
reflecting in your content. Like, you'll have a food blogger who is maybe, you would consider that a food blogger has to travel a lot, right? Has to go to different parts
true.
of India and cover. But today, within Mumbai only, he can cover so many different things,
That's
which
there.
when people search for things, like he is saying that okay, in South Mumbai, which is a famous pav bhaji place or something, very specific videos will get you more
Correct.
traction because it is what people are searching for, what your tribe or TG or something is searching for, and very specific content within that, and they're connecting. So never consider like something is very mainstream and like it's I'll be
Correct.
lost in the crowd. I think you can have your own voice and like specific kind of content, like when I give this example, so it is like in anything it can be used, where it could
Correct.
be a mainstream thing that you are into as a content, but then you are being very specific in terms of their interest or location or whatever,
Yeah.
and that can so that will keep increasing because of content consumption and all. There will be a market if you go about it, so that's something we can kind of look at
Yeah.
as content creators.
That's there. I mean, definitely, I completely agree with you. I mean,
That's right, that's right. In terms of like anything you're looking at, like in entertainment per se, when you look at entertainment influencers and contents that they are following, some changes are there, some upgrades, the way they deliver. Are there anything you're looking at, some trends or something?
when it comes to entertainment, if you see, earlier it was a lot of PR, right? But that is now shifting to digital PR. What digital PR is, that's true influencer marketing, right? That's
Hmm.
nothing like a lot. There are pages who directly, there are meme pages which hype the content or a release of a film. So that's how the shift is. Earlier, it was very, very different. For any movie or any entertainment news, if you see Pinkvilla, also they are jumping on to doing the social media trends that are coming up. Pinkvilla being the most, one of the best. You can say in the entertainment industry, they are one of the best accounts right over there to provide the information or news about the entertainment industry. But they are also following whatever the reels are coming on Instagram and a lot of it. So that's
Hmm.
there. So this shift from earlier PR, so now PR has turned to a digital PR thing. There are pages who are directly, doing a barter collaboration, or doing not just a barter collaboration, but in terms of revenue generation, in terms of monetization, and a lot of, so directly creating page and promoting. If you see, there's one page, Adultgram, I hope you have seen that. What it just talk about cricket, it just talk about entertainment, films, and news. That's how these pages are getting paid for, doing all the digital PR for the entertainment industry, and that's how the movie releases are going on. If you see the
Mm,
recent movie that has released of Rasha Thadani, what they are doing, how they're promoting these movies, actually they're collaborating with influencers and going to their studios, creating a dance video all together, and then
mm,
just taking out that into the market. So there's a shift. It's more on to influencer marketing, rather than it was earlier, more on users or more on out of home marketing. It's not like that. So yeah, there's
mm.
there's a complete digital shift, if I say, in terms of entertainment
That's right.
industry.
Like if you also see like these celebs and all, last 2 3 years they have having their own channels, podcasts, and all that.
Yeah,
So building, like, you could be in the media space only, but you are building your personal brand,
correct.
which has a lot of benefits, like in terms of not only like you'll obviously get uh, brand offers and content for your channels, but your popularity also increases in your domain, and then you
Yeah,
get more work. Like, it's earlier a little bit was restricted to just Instagram, maintain something, put interesting,
yeah,
but today out and out, like an influencer with a team, they are shooting and they are putting regular content.
correct.
That is, I think, a trend that I'm seeing, that they are becoming digital content
Yeah,
creators only, and it's pretty like regular, so which has going to have major impacts. And not only, I think, restrict to entertainment. Today people who are important in various fields, or they are, their digital, I would say, presence, they are increasing in the volume and everything, and it is having a major impact on whatever they are doing. For a business person,
yeah,
it could, like we mentioned, niche that, basically. Um so she, I mean, through that, obviously, content, and then Instagram, and then definitely YouTube and all, that is growing her brand presence and sales. It's because there is a very thing within marketing that, uh, just because you showcase a content at a particular time, like if you take an advertisement, it's not when people are going to buy. It is building space here in their mind. So when they think
correct,
of that thing or a purchasing, or at that time, the first person who pops up is you, right? So
correct.
it is that kind of thing where we are looking at, like, that is the first person you think of, like whether you are in whichever domain, or any kind of space. So yeah, these are some interesting trends we're looking at in 2025, and everyone, content creators, marketers, and all, can kind of look into this.
Yeah,
Awesome. So Aditi, we look at, when you mentioned about AI generated content, and like it's a lot is being used. So somewhere you can lose your authenticity. Like within
yeah,
that, like where you feel ki, even the audience feel that the quality of content is not that great with the AI, right? Just because they are trying to be mainstream or very relatable, and then engagement also can drop, because somewhere they feel there's a a disconnect, like when you're using AI in in certain cases where it's not used well. So how do you maintain that your authenticity engagement with AI content?
uh, see, what I feel is, be honest. That's the key. If you are using this, I think BuzzFeed or somebody, everyone knows that every influencer, every brand is now. Even if you see, from a client perspective, I'm just telling you that even clients want you to use Chat GPT in order to create content. They are not willing to pay for a copywriter or a content writer.
Hmm.
That's how they are, with the mind coming with the mindset that why should I pay when there is a free content out there, I can get it from
Yeah.
there. So that's kind of mindset is over there when it comes to AI generated content. When it comes to as I told you earlier also, that AI gives you good ideas but that are repetitive. If you see chat gpt also, now it's performing very well and giving you more more refined answers to your queries. Earlier it wasn't the same, right? So AI is also running on whatever we are feeding it to, right?
Yeah.
What the searches are increasing, right, every day, and that's how the content is getting refined. Similar way, if I'm using as a content creator myself, for an example, if I'm using a AI generated content in order to write the captions, in order to create any sort of strategy, that is somebody else will also be doing the same thing, right? So you just need to
Mm.
be very open. You know uh, Social media, it's all, everything digital is very experiment thing field, I would say, where you are actually experimenting a lot of things. So when you are using AI driven content, say it's AI driven, if you see every agency writing the same line that we are a creative agency plus AI driven. So
Mm.
that's how you
Yeah,
need
that
to be open and
use that so
transparent
that
to your
like you
audience.
are, because AI you're talking about, so everything is
Yeah,
they put in AI
AI.
even in advertisements today and all that. So yeah, that
Yeah,
is there.
that's
But
a funny
here I
part.
feel that there is a, like when you look at, when you're talking about the clients and they say, this thing we can use easily in ChatGPT and all.
Yeah,
Today I feel a counter is firstly, earlier, like, even Google was not there, right? Like the waves of
correct,
searches. So how we are with Google is like we have bettered our work, in terms of the information
correct.
that is out there and all. So the same thing with the AI. So the work is the same, but everybody has this tool, but how you use it better,
Yeah,
because then it's competitive, right? Like
correct.
everybody
Yeah,
has those tools, वो औजार सबके पास है. So वो कैसे, but वो
हाँ,
जब जंग में आते हैं तो
correct.
वो आपको उससे
Yeah,
लड़ना है. So that is the
correct.
thing wherein it's the accountability and getting deliverer. If you're writing
Yeah,
that copy, how successful is that copy, whether it's an
correct.
ad or it's
Add your,
this
yeah,
thing.
correct. So that's actually what it is, कि सबके पास सेम ही है weapon. How you can use it for your own purpose, that
Yeah,
really makes a difference. Yeah, and what I would suggest as a brand strategy to all the brands out there: use AI. There's no harm in using any new tool, which can actually lower down your burden. Right? It's a very coming up with ideas every day, it's definitely a difficult task, but add
yeah,
that human touch. I think that's not going to be with any AI tool. I would say, even if you use today chat gpt, they'll give you the same answer, they'll every time, unless and until you give them a right direction. So
yeah.
that's there.
There's a way
Use
of
that.
using it also where you
Yeah,
are very
correct.
specific and instructions, and there is, so the
Yeah,
way you use ChatGPT as, like, say in different domains in marketing, like social media manager, or it's a
yeah,
performance manager, performance marketing or something. So it's very specifically how you use that tool. It's like the same thing what we are using
correct.
Google. Like it's how you use
Yeah.
that tool. You can be in the domain. Yeah.
Correct, correct. It's very, I'll just give you an example, very funny. Just, on LinkedIn, if you see, every person is writing a very long kind of post these days. If you see, just, I've observed this thing that, in, I think LinkedIn, ChatGPT was down for a day. There were lesser number of posts out there. Why? Because everyone is just dependent on AI to create or write your
Mm,
post for LinkedIn, right? Earlier it was not.
mm,
Even the authenticity of the platform has gone, because every person is now coming up with the expertise, though the
mm,
expertise are not with the person, but definitely they are just going on to chat gpt and asking them to write a certain kind of post. And that's how
mm,
it's good for a person to project him or herself as a good knowledgeable person, but then it's not adding any value to anybody, honestly saying.
mm,
Because looking at the number of posts which went down on LinkedIn just in one day, where the OpenAI was not working. So that's there.
mm,
So I would suggest that use AI to any extent, in order you can create images, you can create post, not just write.
mm,
There's another, there are many more tools. Using that you
mm,
can create a PowerPoint presentation. Using that tool you can create a social media post only. You just have to tell that the this is something that I'm looking, this is the objective, and you can directly create a post out of it and directly post it on Instagram. But is that
Hmm.
actually relevant? It gives you very irrelevant answers, and the whole granth. You ask one one point, it gives you a whole lesson, right? So you need
Hmm.
to be very what to say, very clear about what you actually want from it. Humanize it and
That's right.
don't just copy
Like,
paste.
yeah,
I
I
would
mean, if it's giving you 10 different points, that is your experience and expertise, where which point you're using and you within the
correct.
content or
Yeah.
something. So that is
Yeah.
where you come in. That is, you can't, like an AI can't do that. That is your experience and the time you
Yeah.
spent in your domain, and what will maybe connect and all that with the
Yeah.
audience. So yeah, I mean, we have to use this. It's a tool, and still, like, if you see even today's the brands which are doing well with the AI content, there is that authenticity being maintained, because it's just there is a lot of human effort within that, right? Like, it'll be 80%
Correct.
human effort and 20%. But if you're exceeding like up 50-60% AI pay in
Yeah.
terms of the effort you're seeing, then obviously that authenticity will not there. People not engage, because people then get smarter also, like in the consumption, where
Yeah.
uh, because it's a human need where they want a connection, like where you see a content, when if a person, you feel genuinely with experience and something he's writing it and that's relatable, so then
Correct.
he engages more. So that's a very
Yeah.
human thing, like like they have mentioned it, like very experienced marketers, advertisers, is how do you kind of just like the pulse of the audience, how do you get it,
Impulse of
like
the
how do you
audience.
strike
Yeah.
strike a chord, an emotional
Correct.
chord
Yeah.
which is with that human, that is what is going to connect, and
Correct.
that's what
That's gonna,
usually is
yeah,
something that's
that's actually
successful.
gonna take ahead. Yeah, that's what it is. And in terms of creating content, if you see, or all of the people who are there into the digital marketing industry, if you see and analyze the content, you'll get more traction on a content where a human is speaking, right? It's not an AI voice. It's directly when you're directly communicating to your audience. BTS videos, if you see behind the scene content, where how your product is creating, how you are selling it, how your shipping is going. I'm just talking about in a brand perspective of product
Hmm.
category. So that's how people are more interested in knowing the behind the scenes, what's
Yeah.
going on, how much effort it's taking. It's not just that you just put a display creative out there and people are going to engage. No, you'll just it's my own analysis that I've done. If I myself is putting just a static or a display post, it's getting a very
Hmm.
lesser engagement. Whereas if I'm there on that particular photo or a video and I'm speaking something, I'm talking which actually resonating with my audience and what they are actually looking for. If a person is
Hmm.
following you, that's there's a thought behind, that yeah, I
Hmm.
actually resonate with what Nikhil puts out there on his social media accounts, and I'm able to relate with you. That's something I'm
Yeah.
getting from you. Maybe an information, maybe some sort of entertainment, or maybe an insight, right, into your life. So that's how it
Hmm.
has to have certain, correlation with the with your target audience. So that's how the AI should be integrated into your content. But yeah, definitely should not overtake. So yeah.
That's right. So Aditi, when you look at short form and long form content, obviously when as marketers or the content managers, they create the content bucket, so they were adding the different content formats
Yeah.
also within that. So like, how do you feel? You have to like balance the two. Maybe if you can take an example also
Yeah.
and explain, that'll be great.
Correct. When it comes to short form and long form content, it's a long debate, I would say, now in the industry, that which particular form of content we should be using. I, as in strategist, and what I have been doing so far is keep a balance of what works for you. That's there, definitely. What platforms your brand is available, that really matters, and in what niche actually you're working. Basis on the content buckets, when we create the one content bucket that really speaks about the brand, another one that speaks about an informative content bucket, and then there is a motivational content bucket, there's educational content bucket. But then all these communication buckets completely depend on what your brand is, right? So when you are when we talk about creating a short form or a long form content, truly depends on how your brand is currently there out there in the market, and in comes from which industry. Giving you Just to give you an example, if you're coming from a fashion or beauty brand, let's say K Beauty, or a Rare Beauty, and there are many other beauty cosmetics brand out there, they need a short form video. The user is in such a hurry that therefore they are buying your product, they want to do their makeup hard and fast. Let's say Lakme's 9 to 5 campaign that was there, and they launched certain products. The audience was such that they were targeting working women who does not have time to do a lot of makeup. They need a makeup which they can do on the go, maybe in the taxi while they are going to the workplace. That's how. So looking at that, short form content will definitely work because your audience does not have time to spend and sit and watch a long video, right? That how to do this makeup, and then after that how to remove and all of it. So there's when you require a short form video content where you're giving 5 minute steps or how to do makeup in 5 minutes, right? So these kind of content work for those kind of brands. Whereas long term form or long form content, if I talk about, it's more of a podcast where or a vlog, I would say, where you deep
Mm.
where you actually want your audience to know each and everything about that particular topic, or you want to give them a real experience about what you're going through, right? Whe- Whenever you want a very explanatory video to put out there, then definitely a long form video will work for you. You can also, as I think we spoke in the first question also, that obviously you can redirect. For an example, taking the 9 to 5 Lakme cosmetic brand only, if you really once just considering a scenario, once your TG is back at home and they are relaxed, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, you can retarget them using a short form content video to a longer, and then you can just take your audience to YouTube, where they have time, they're relaxing on a Sunday, but then yeah, definitely they are watching something of your brand, where you are telling the story behind it and all the struggles that women are going through, right? And how this brand is helping them with their makeup and in their day-to-day life and all of it. So just correlate with what your audience is actually wanting, and at the right time, I would say. Right time is really important when you are actually targeting. So create, I would say, keep a balance between both short and long form content. Whenever you want to put out a lot of information, lot of give a real views and all of this, then definitely go for YouTube or long form video. And completely platform selection is very important, Nikhil. I would say, if your brand is not present over there in YouTube, then there's no point in creating a long form video on Instagram, because now you know everyone is very habitual of looking the video not more than 5 or 7 seconds, though 15 seconds is the limit
Mm.
still on Instagram. But then I myself was not interested in looking
No,
at
like
a
reels may it's increased
definitely.
a lot in terms of that the
Yeah,
duration, but obviously we don't look at a long
correct.
video on Instagram because I
Yeah,
think they had done something like IGTV some years back,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's like now totally it's not there.
Not
It's
working
so
out.
in
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram beyond 3 minutes is not to
It's
be
not
posted.
a,
It's like you
yeah.
redirect it to your YouTube video
Yeah,
or whatever. So
correct, correct.
yeah,
The
I mean
new
like
trend has obviously came.
short
Yeah,
would be Instagram and long would
it
be
would be a
YouTube
YouTube.
majorly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
majorly that I would suggest. So that's there. I mean, although Instagram has came up with this, the new trend, the algorithms are saying that their Instagram is now switching to long form content, where they really want the creators to put out their stories out there. It's easier to narrate the whole story and the same. But
Mm.
definitely now, since we are so much habitual of scrolling through the reels, the audience tendency is such that I personally also don't want to look at the content beyond 15 seconds. I will definitely not watch it. So that's how this attention span of the audience is also decreased, I would say, definitely because of the
Mm.
reels and all of it. So creating platform wise, you can definitely strategize on which platform you want to create what kind of content. So that will really help you define your strategy in terms of content creation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Aditi, let's talk about the storytelling aspect. When you look at, like, it's in general, people say, like, have storytelling based content, and that connects more, and people like to hear
Yeah.
stories, not just something which you're selling to your particular audience. And also, but actually, when you look at as a content manager or something of a particular brand, what do you look
Yeah.
at, like, when you say storytelling on the ground level? What is it that you do that you're saying, okay, this is storytelling kind of content?
So see, storytelling, I would say wherever there is a message, that's a story.
Mhm.
Message can be anything. It's not. It should not be a like a moral story or something like that, but definitely something which has a message, which has an information at the end, which has
Mm.
a call to action that after listening the whole story, is Nikhil willing to take an action, right? So your
Mm.
story should drive action, I would say. That's how your
Mm.
storytelling approach for a brand in order to create the content should be like that. It has to have an action at the end, I would say.
Mm.
When it comes to creating a story for a brand, it's important to know the vision and mission and what the person has gone through while they were creating a particular brand. Key that really helps in terms of positioning the brand into the market. I would say when it comes to creating content for such kind of brands, it's easier because they come up with the story which is there, and the audience will relate ki yeah, I have also gone through the same struggles that that person has gone through, right? Today we are able to resonate with a lot of, if you see brands that are coming on Shark Tank India, when they tell their story that how they have built, they have left school, colleges or whatsoever, and they have put in a lot of efforts, you know
Mm.
making or building a certain brand. That's how I, as a audience sitting at my home on my own sofa, I can definitely relate to that yeah, obviously this person has done something and a lot of things, so that I'm able to relate to that. So that's how storytelling plays a very important role in building your own brand. That actually creates a deeper connection, as I told you, that I was able to relate, right? That yeah,
Mm.
the person has gone through the same struggles as I'm going currently.
Mm.
So that really
And you
motivates
can't
your
even
audience.
sometimes explain it. It's like something that
Yeah,
you're just attracted towards
correct.
somebody who has a really good story, and it doesn't have to, they can tell about something that they failed at, or something that didn't work
Yeah,
out but they learned. And so it's kind of very
correct.
genuine, authentic, and
Positive
makes you
impact. Yeah,
closer to the
correct.
person, yeah, or the brand or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that is a,
that
yeah.
that's there. It creates a lot of positive impact. Honestly, just beyond buying your products or selling your product. It's more than just that. And it really helps in long term. I would say when it comes to when we talk about brand loyalty, when we talk about a lot of credibility and all of it which comes with a brand, then these stories are really really helpful. So make sure that your brand has a good story. You have, if you are your own personal brand, you should have a good story to put out there into the market, right? So that's how. If you don't have one, build one, I would say. So that
Yes,
that's
yes,
there.
definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Aditi, what do you feel in terms of the branded content formats? Like, which has become uh, today. I mean, you even have in-house, in the big companies. You have in-house people who
Yeah.
are responsible for branded content. They would be like clubbed into like influencer content or marketing or something,
Yeah.
and solely the role is that you have to create a content with like an influencer or content creator, and you kind of how do you, like, basically it's a match between their audience and the particular brand, so that obviously
Yeah.
the content has to get popular. That is the kind of the goal of it. So within that,
Okay.
what do you feel is a format? Like in previous years, you would even have like a lot of automobile brands. They did that.
Yeah.
Take a particular influencer and you have like a road trip or something, and in the
Yeah.
background, so like something like that, like a vlog style used as a series was like an example. So now, what do you feel like going forward? What kind of formats are we looking at?
Yeah. Um. See, there everything is getting into commerce. If you see, I would say the biggest innovation that is gonna come into the brand and content is the game commerce, right? Where you actually don't want to disturb your audience while they are playing the games, but definitely you want them to take a action, right? So there are games which are coming. It's game commerce which is going to be there and huge into the market, and in the coming years, I would say, where people are actually, it's an uninterrupted shopping experience, right? You're playing
Hmm.
the game, so your product is going to be integrated into games, right?
Hmm.
There are many players who are there into the market coming, and a
Is
lot
it
of
like,
brands are
for
currently
example,
doing
when
this.
you are watching a match and you nowadays in the app you see various things like guess which in the next ball what was happened. So it can, and
Yeah,
it's a
so
brand also coming in and then that integration. So it's like,
correct,
for
correct.
example, yeah.
It's like that. So there is OEM marketing, which is there. It's an old thing, but definitely, where you're targeting directly your audience on the devices. You're
Hmm.
not running an ad on Google and Meta, but then you're doing an OEM marketing, which is done on devices directly. So where if you're having an Vivo or Oppo phone, you are directly advertising on that particular. You are actually it's what should I say? It's an undivided attention which you're not gonna get on a Google or a Meta. So there, the shift is going to be there, where the brand is actually looking for that undivided attention, but they obviously don't want to disturb the audience also, right? If I'm bombarded with a lot of ads on my phone, I definitely keep it away for some time. That I really don't want to see multiple ads. But there is this OEM advertising which is there, which only permits a particular brand to show their ads twice a day. There is a frequency cap over there, so your
Hmm.
audience is willing to engage on your app, and you are targeting an audience which is, that this person hold a certain you know price range device, and it's easier for you to target that kind of audience. When I was talking about the game
That's it.
commerce, it's really fantastic, I would say. When in your game, like for an example, I'll just give you any game. You can Subway Surfer, where you collect certain coins and all of it, and you keep on running. So in place of coins, you can integrate your own product. So that is gonna be the future, I would say, of innovative
Hmm.
branded content, right? Where you are integrating your product everywhere, wherever your audience is, right? So
Hmm.
that's how game commerce is one of
That's right.
the thing that is gonna be.
Yeah, like within the content, that integration of the brand,
Yeah,
how smartly is done. Like these media channels and all, companies, they have people like brand,
yeah,
content strategists and all these things. So they see how you can integrate like your
integrated.
particular content in the shows and all, because obviously people are switching off in terms of external ads, and
Yeah,
a lot of consumption is happening on, say, YouTube, of
correct.
those channels. So you'll miss out on all that advertising impact. So it's here is like somewhere within your content, your story, only you've integrated
Yeah,
something. How smartly you do it, because even when the audience gets an idea that it is kind of like there's
yeah.
some
It's
product
it's
coming in,
not
they
like
switch off. So it
flashy
has to
or
be done
something like
smartly.
that. Yeah.
That's right.
Correct, correct. Even nobody wants to, that a lot of ads are flashing in front of their eyes at one time.
Yeah.
Definitely. So how smartly you put. Yeah, you rightly said how smartly you put, or just integrate your products or service into your audience environment. I think that's gonna be the innovation. I did one ad for Tanishq only. We did a shopping, ad. So at the end of the day, we obviously want conversion and we want engagement from our audience. But Yeah, that's how you integrate. Even on DV, you're running a shopping ad where a user is looking at the video. So it's kind of a, a hybrid model. I think that's also gonna be working in the near future. People don't want to look at one kind of content, that's for sure. Right. So you mix a lot of things where, what I did is I mixed up the video content and I mixed up the static display. So once the user is getting that attention at one point of time, he's engaged now looking at a video, कि I'm, this video looks fine and everything. So once the user is clicking and multiple products are showing at one time to the user, I think that's when he need not to go to the website, right? So that's when you need to integrate your product in such a way that it should not look like a lot of a bombarded advertising to your audience, but yeah, definitely something that he or she would like to engage with in a subtle way, I would say. So that's gonna be the next innovation in the branded content.
That's right.
Yeah,
So Diti, like when you look at social commerce, right? Like it how it has evolved. Like you mainly look at, let's say, Instagram, how people are putting up their own brands, products out there, because you can like
yeah,
directly connect with a particular audience who there is a demand for that particular product or service. So when you look at content strategies for them, like so that you have that sale happening, like for one example is that it's used a lot in China is the live streams for selling particular products, like a lot of influencers and
yeah,
brands do it, and they get a lot of traction also. Not many people will even agree with it that just because there's a live stream and a person is talking about a product or something,
yeah,
uh, that is happening, but it is the reality on the ground level. It is happening a lot in China. It's a major thing. So like these, if you look at what kind of content will actually lead to direct sales, what are we looking at?
yeah. So, when we talk about social commerce, looking at certain platforms like an Instagram ad where you have a shoppable ad also running, right? Where
Hmm.
it's not just about the influencer marketing, they are doing their part of it, but then you have ads running up with a clear CTC of shop now or visit our store or something like that, right? Which has a proper display of products. See, everyone as an audience want to look at more and more options, and they just don't want to see one product and make their decision. So definitely look for formats where you can show a range of products and services that you provide, so that you're
Hmm.
not losing out on an audience, I would say. Let's say for an example, if I'm just interested into one kind of product, but definitely you want to resell, right? And you want to make a recurring audience, or a person, right? So that's how try to integrate those kind of ad formats while creating that kind of environment for your audience. Use those kind of format. Shoppable content is something that I would suggest for an Instagram kind of a platform. When it comes to live commerce, if you see, we did, let's say for handset category in terms of mobile, there is a lot of sales coming in for Flipkart generally do, I think, the big billion sale, right? So that's when
Hmm.
the live commerce comes in. That's a really good chance for you to promote your product or services, where you are telling your audience that now we are live and go and purchase, and that's it. Simple. We are
Hmm.
making them aware. So there is a
Yeah, you have
launch,
to
there is
integrate
pre
it
launch
with
and
very
post
good
launch. Yeah.
offers and
Correct.
some kind of a thing which is not available at some other time, right?
Correct.
Like I've seen some
Like
platform, they've in
Prime.
the
Yeah.
live sessions they've integrated with some celeb at that time who's an
Correct.
expert in that field or whatever, like is
Yeah.
known, revered by the TG or something. So you have to look at innovative ways of doing it. The
Correct.
push a lot is happening from the platforms wherein like in YouTube also you have connected products now. So when you're watching a YouTube video, then you can maybe click the products and then you in
Yeah.
the product maybe a person is wearing a particular shirt or something. So there's a link
Correct.
of
Correct.
that and you're selling. So it's like automated, like that kind of marketing that is there wherein you are kind of selling in that link, and obviously the it either could be
Correct.
a product which is already the brand, which is the particular influencer has. So it is his shirt or
Yeah.
something, or it is just kind of maybe a commission based model or something like that. So it
Yeah,
depends,
yeah.
but
It completely
that's it.
depends, yeah, of course. Yeah. But yeah, obviously that's there, how beautifully you integrate your product into the content that you're putting out. Uh, that has to be very nice, and all of it. As we just spoke about game commerce, it's similar,
Hmm.
gamified. So a lot of influencers also coming up with certain challenges, and a lot of it. So once you complete the challenge, you'll get a link to purchase, and you get a certain number of discounts and all of it. So they are also integrating that particular brand into the content while making it and marketing it. So it completely, I would say integration is the key in today's scenario, where whenever you want to, make your audience to take a audience, or at the end of the completion of the process, you want them to purchase something. Try to integrate your products or services in such a way that actually leads to an action, right? Even we just spoke about game commerce, so like gamified. If you're doing something which is gamified, and where you want to take your audience to take an, kind of an action where the sales is happening or the purchase is happening, so that's when it's integration, right? We just spoke about. So that's how it's changing the scenarios here.
That's right. So Aditi, if you look at the content creators, and in terms of when they are professionals and they're earning out of the content,
Yeah.
what are the different like revenue streams which are coming up? Basic is obviously like what you earn out of say the YouTube, and then or the
Yeah.
you reach out to brands or they reach out to you and created branded content, or you'll have maybe some events that they're called and they're paid
Yeah.
for, and some courses and all. But what do you feel are new revenue streams also coming up which they should explore?
I would suggest that, yeah, definitely rightly said that, they are obviously doing barter collaborations. They are, taking certain fees in order to create the content. But I would say a subscription model is something that they can integrate into their pricing or monetization model, where, a particular brand can subscribe to them for a particular period of time. I think that will definitely add a lot of value to the influencer, right?
Hmm.
And they can obviously provide, they can segregate the type of content, they can segregate basis the quality of content, right? And a lot of
Hmm.
offering, they can actually categorize their offering. So that's how you can charge basis upon them. I think subscription model is one of them that they can use. Also, a revenue sharing model is one of the thing that an influencer can use, rather than just taking a fees in order to create a particular video or create a story in whatsoever. But definitely ask for a revenue share. That's how I think Amazon is running an influencer program like that, where you have a revenue
Hmm.
share. There's Wishlink, yeah, I think Wishlink or Wish one, not clearly
Hmm.
remembered, but yeah, there's Wishlink, yeah. So which once you put out the story as an influencer, you add their link. If the user clicks on the link and tend to purchase the product, then definitely you're gonna get a revenue share out of it. So that's how these are the few things that definitely you can use in terms of monetizing and get a better pay out of your deals. So yeah, these are some of the things that I would suggest as a start.
That's right. Yeah, as things evolve, you have to see, there are certain platforms also who kind of help in uh, that particular thing, wherein you are getting certain, like, say, commission or something out of it. And
Yeah.
through your content, like, people even use like top made kind of site for, like, say,
Yeah.
uh, they are giving out, like, say, I'm doing a consultancy or a one-on-one for 1 hour, so I'm
Yeah.
charging for that. So
Correct.
if you have a captive audience, they are ready to pay, then that can work out well. Where there's already, see, the thing is that that platform has already established everything in terms of the
Correct.
it has a certain reach, and it's the finance part of it, like, how you get that money and all that. So they take
Yeah.
away the those things, and where you can just focus on gaining your popularity of your content, and then you have the links and all that thing. So whatever product
Correct.
services you are giving. So as I said, like, even though there are opportunities, influencer, if if you have a team or there's something, then it adds to it, like where they are also thinking of how to grow it. Or it can get
Correct.
overwhelming, like as an influencer, how much can
Yeah.
you this thing. So you have to take those, like when you run a business, when you have to hire someone else after a certain stage, you have
Correct.
to take those bold decisions that, whether I involve and all, and
Collaborate
also
with a particular brand or not.
that's it.
Yeah.
And you have to know at what stage you're in. You can't like say that, like make a decision where at that time it's not justified that investment within it. Like, so you have to be
Correct.
smart. So that's
Very
when you are in that
cautious. Yeah.
game. Yeah, game. And the thing is, if you take it slowly, step by step, and you're looking at a slow and a sustained growth, that is the best way to go forward.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
So, Aditi, we look at, if you took, like as a brand solutions person, and also like when you look at micro and nano, they can be overlooked, like when you look at, when you have discussions with your management or the CEO of a particular company, sometimes they just
Yeah.
get carried away with numbers only, right? Like, okay, this many followers, that will relate to that. But somewhere when you look at actually sales through the particular people's content, somewhere maybe micro and nano will have more impact. They have multiple micro nano compared to one, macro one.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of look at their roles in terms of, like say branded content?
When it comes to macro, micro, and nano, definitely micro and nano. Macro comes with a lot of reach and engagement, and when we talk about
Mm.
numbers, definitely they are the one. But
Yeah,
in the
not
beginning of the
necessarily
podcast,
engagement actually, because their
yeah,
engagements are kind of
very
dropping.
low. Yeah, low,
Yeah.
dropping actually. So when we talk about micro and nano influencers, they do have, in comparison to macro, obviously they have low reach in terms of low impression rates and all of it, but definitely a good audience with high engagement rates, I would say, because
Mm.
they comes with a lot of credibility, I would say. They do have a
Mm.
smaller audience, but a audience which are actually following them. They are not paid audience. If you see macro influencer, they also have a lot of paid audience on their platforms. It's they themselves are also buying audience, right? So that's there. In order to remove that, definitely one should go with micro or nano influencer. They come up with a lot of credibility. With credibility, whatever they will say to that audience, let's say a person is having just 5K followers, half of them may be their family or friends who will definitely, it's an integration, I would say, of word of mouth and
Mm.
social media marketing, because half of them are their relatives or friends. If you are suggesting somebody to your friend, definitely he or she is gonna, like, at least let me try once, like like that. So that's how it works well, and more good from macro influencer. So definitely one should go for macro and nano influencer. That's what I would suggest. And how brands can actually leverage them. First, they are building the recall and credibility and brand loyalty for your brand. Another thing is that they are not charging you a lot of money that a macro influencer would have, right? So they are more cost effective, and they are
Mm.
providing you more results in terms of sales. They are
That's it.
providing you more
But
results in terms of
that,
engagement. Yeah.
but also to the marketer, I'll say it's not necessary. You have to analyze all these influencers. Definitely, they're
Correct.
agencies. That's why credible agency is important, because there's a lot of volume of work that goes into it. Like,
Yeah.
just because a person has a smaller following and it's a niche domain doesn't mean that um, there's effectiveness. You have to go deeper into the content
Of
and
course,
see what
there's an
is happening.
audit. Yeah. Correct. Definitely see, before shortlisting a profile for macro, micro, nano, there's an audit happens. Just to how it works, I'll just explain you. So there's an audit which we do, right? We go on to these influencers profile. If it depends on what brand or what category actually looking for. So if I'm looking for, let's say automobile brand, so I'm gonna look at those kind of influencer who are out there, and they are also creating, and the influencer should be present on multiple platform, and not just we should not look at कि Instagram पे इसके इतने followers है, I should onboard him. No, he should be present on YouTube, he should be present, he should be having his own Pinterest pin and all of it, because Pinterest and YouTube has now turned into a search engine, right? So that's how so a lot of thing goes behind selecting or refining for your particular brand when you choose a particular influencer. So not see the category, see the niche, see the industry, from where they, and is there any controversy that has happened with that person earlier? It should not, because a lot of thing now, the digital space is very sensitive, I would say. The recent Samay Rana case that has happened, everyone on the digital platform is very sensitive, right? You need to be very sensible when you're putting out any kind of content into the market. So, see if that particular influencer is, with some sort of controversy, something has happened. A lot of research required when you onboard a person, right? Because it's more like a celebrity influencer to your brand, right? Currently,
Hmm.
at the same point, that person is actually holding your product and saying, I belong to this particular company, I belong to this. So all of it. So definitely one should carefully, audit these influencer before making or striking a deal, I would say. So a lot of research,
That's
definitely
right.
look for
This is a
influencer, yeah.
very interesting because I feel like as content creators also, you have to be aware of what you're putting
Correct, the
out there.
brand is
Sometimes
selling,
in the
yeah.
flow of things, and you feel that a thing will get more views if you're more out there or controversial or
Out
whatever.
there, yeah.
So that kind of can backfire. You have to be, if you are a public personality, you have to be
Yeah.
on when you are in front of an audience, right? From everybody
Correct.
has a mobile phone, and they can take, if you are in a seminar and
Record, yeah.
suddenly there's
Correct.
something, you get angry on someone, and it is all recorded. So you have to understand that if you want to come in the media space, there is a big, like a spotlight on you, and
Yeah.
you have to be careful of your actions, in terms of that. Like,
Correct.
uh, you want to be, your work has to be like, because people take these shortcuts and all, and they say, and then they have the wrong role models, so they feel this thing. That is where I feel the marketers and brands and all, they have to be more conscious. That is where you do into the audits, and what kind of impression
Yeah.
is there. So there is
Correct.
obviously, there's going to be a gray space, what is right, what is wrong, but that is then a longer discussion and all that. But in general, if you see, you have to be very conscious as
Yeah.
content
In
creator.
terms of
Even normal
selecting,
people, I
yeah.
feel, even generally, when you see like normal people, like what kind of thing you put in your social media also has a branding thing for you. And don't think
Correct.
just because
Correct.
you have a private profile that you can put anything for a few this thing. You should be conscious of what
Yeah.
is out there, like that, is putting, because that is an impression of you, like of in anything you do in life, there is, it is as per certain impressions you have of people around you, and they
Yeah.
have, so accordingly, yeah, you
Definitely.
have
I
to
mean,
do
if you are there
self.
present on social media, it's you are projecting your life. It's like that. It's that simple. And everyone is gonna have a certain kind of opinion, right? Whatever you put
Yeah,
it. So that's there, but yeah, definitely in terms of selecting influencer, because that are gonna be the hero and uh, of your product basically. So definitely be cautious, be careful, do well research about the person,
that's it.
you know. So
Yeah,
that
because
should be,
also we have to understand, like the country is so diverse. Like, what is the
yeah,
sensibility in Mumbai and Bandra, and then
correct,
some small city within the country. Like, it's a lot. So, but end of the day, it's that audience that you are appealing to, and what impression you want to keep in
correct,
general about yourself. That is your decision. So you have to be conscious of that. That's what I'm saying. Well,
correct,
like, stay alert and on when you are in a public
yeah.
domain of your actions and
Correct,
everything.
correct. Yeah, yeah. And even, just one more point, like whenever you're selecting an influencer in order to promote your brand or services, it's important to look at, which city in terms of geography, what you're actually targeting, right? You can't have an influencer from Maharashtra and you really want to reach out to an audience who is sitting in Madhya Pradesh. Definitely, it's a no, right? So all these things should be there and coming into play
Yeah,
while
that's like get
selecting a
deeper in
particular. Yeah,
actually where is this campaign for, and accordingly. So because I
yeah,
feel location base is very important. Like you shouldn't overlook
very
that even if
important.
you are at a pan India level, still the campaigns have to be as per certain
Correct.
locations. At least it should be tweaked as per that area
Yeah, the content
sensibilities and
has
all.
to be the language. Yeah, correct, correct, definitely. Because like in MP there's certain dialects that are people speak so try to connect as much as possible, because now you're onboarding a human to directly speak about your brand. So definitely try to make it as more customized you can actually do. Try to onboard an influencer who speaks the same language as your TG. I think that would really help you. Try to find out that the particular influencer belongs to that particular geographical area. I think that would really make sense because people are already familiar with that person, right? So that is going to
Hmm.
be very helpful for a brand to leverage influencer marketing, I would say.
Awesome. So I think it's been a great discussion here with Aditi. Social and content and all these things, they're so interesting, even on a mainstream level when you're discussing, because we all are like advertising was earlier, where everybody used to have a discussion on it and see what's interesting, and that was a common talking point. Today it's the digital media space, and people who are popular on it, and branded content and all that. So I feel it's kind of very interesting to see the different perspectives and things in the back end, like how they are done. So thanks a lot, Aditi, for your time and bringing your unique perspective to the MI podcast.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. And it was my first experience to come on a podcast and discuss. So it was really fresh, really, I was also, very excited to be here and discuss what actually I have learned, throughout these years, working into the industry. And I really, hope that, in the coming years, definitely a lot of people are coming in and joining the same discussion. We all are going to learn a lot of things from each other. I think that's the most beautiful part of the podcast. And yeah, you have taken it so well. So thank you so much for having me today. I really look forward to such more podcasts we'll be doing in the near future, on different topics. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Aditi. Yeah, definitely. I was discussing with certain other podcasters also. So,
Mm.
when they started putting the efforts or putting in the podcast and all.
Yeah,
So, apart from obviously the content that it goes on their social media channels. It's like connecting with so many new, interesting
yeah,
people. Definitely, what happens when you connect through social media, and then you're talking about different topics maybe in your domain, you meet so many like-minded people, like that is the
yeah,
main thing that people want to. When you're networking, it's not like you want that connect with that person, and then there is some kind of where you have unique, so many commonalities and so many things you
common,
can
yeah,
discuss on. So
things, yeah,
I feel with the podcast, that's what it does. So even though you might not reach like a professional level, but like it's
yeah,
a great activity in your domain. You kind of get to learn so many more
exchange
things. You
thoughts,
can
yeah,
guess, even as guests, if you go on podcasts and maybe like you have reached a certain level where maybe podcasts are approaching you. So it's definitely, apart from the PR part, I think it improves your communication, how you put structured thinking into it,
yeah,
and
correct,
it creates a great branding for you also, when you are showcased on
correct.
various different interesting podcasts. Awesome. So I think we'll wrap up. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for your time. The Emma podcast is on all the major podcast networks. So please go and follow us majorly, obviously on Spotify, which is the most popular, audio platform. So we are there on it as the MI podcast. We are also on YouTube as a Modern Intelligence. So kindly go there. Even if YouTube Nikhil Kumar marketing, you will get many of my videos with various people who have come on as a guest. So please, awesome. And if you want to, come down on this podcast, definitely you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can work out something where it'll be a great content for your particular TG. Awesome. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you all until the next time. See you. Take care.
Thank you.